Oh boy, people are getting tired of battle royales and returning back to Minecraft. You know what that means? Yes, you do. Time to try riding the trend wave and ramble about Minetest. Yeah, you heard me right. There's not a lot you can say about Minecraft these days. It wasn't already talked to death by every single YouTuber who gave a shit about it. In comparison, Minetest is fairly unheard of on YouTube. Might as well be original in that regard. So Minetest is a free open-source voxel game engine, or in layman's terms, like Minecraft but. The but is that it embraced the spirit of old pre-Microsoft Minecraft and markets itself more as a game engine than a game, if you get my drift. Which is why if you download it and try playing in single player, you'll have roughly the same experience as from those Minecraft alphas when the game was barely a game. You have to kinda tweak the game for your liking, which means that installing or creating mods will be your main source of entertainment. Fortunately, the game was coded in Lua as opposed to Minecraft's Java and has its own API, which means that installing and deleting mods in Minetest is easy compared to Minecraft, and other players don't have to have your Minecraft build in order to play on your server. And speaking of servers, it's time I tell you a story. Once upon a time, my employer wanted to play some Minecraft, but none wanted to actually de-anonymize themselves and fork cash for it, so he installed Minetest instead and asked if I wanted to join, and I agreed, because not like I had other things to do at the moment, and so after getting the hang of controls, we've tried finding a place we can call home. Several attempts and running away from invincible killer ducks later, we've landed on a server quite originally called Airfusel's server, where we stayed since. Now, I generally don't like playing multiplayer games with other people because my experience with them usually falls into one of two broad experiences. One, literally every player beside me have abandoned all pretense of life outside of this game and have etched controls into muscle memory, so even if they don't spew racism in the chat or generally act like dicks, I never feel like I'm accomplishing something, and if I wanted to feel inadequate, I could have visited any local graveyard. Two, every player around you has the rough intelligence of a toddler on methamphetamines, so while you can rack victories pretty easy, the value of these victories are lower than Venezuelan Bolivar, and you get bored. Thankfully, Minetest and the sandbox games in general have one big advantage over any other type of game, in that they can be played in any way by virtually any people as long as you adjust your expectations accordingly, and I enjoy nothing more in these kinds of social games than to run away into the most unexplored or rarely visited corners of the world, bunker down, lay booby traps, and take pot shots at anyone daring to be near me, basically the local version of Switzerland. And so after roughly 4-6 in-game days of searching, we've found a place relatively remote from all the action, built a simple hut, and from that point on started to actually play the game. Now, what do you do in Minetest? You build. You build a lot. That's kinda what I've started to do, creating an entire city and several villages with bits of lore and such scattered around the place, while my employer basically dug a big hole in the ground and then built a massive tower into the sky, possibly to commemorate his own willy. Then you also can do PvP and such, but I generally found it to be a pointless thing on a server such as Airfusel's. See, here we have a level system. The higher your level, the higher your health and damage, but the death penalties are also quite severe, to the point where dying on high levels can instantly delete months of grinding and even lower your level should you be unlucky enough. So I just avoided PvP and other players altogether, basically having my employer do most of the social stuff while I was busy building shit. Like Mount and Blade, Minetest is a game best played when you have a set of goals to do. Just randomly creating shit gets boring fast, but making a structured city or a massive tower into the sky will never get boring, predominantly because unlike Minecraft, the height of the world is either very high or adjustable by the server's owner, so when Minecraft has only a measly altitude of 256 blocks total, Earth's world alone has something like 15,000 blocks in the sky and 15,152 blocks underground, so you'll have enough places to hide or build whatever your heart's desire. If I were to point something I don't like about the game, it would probably be the overall sandbox approach to it. I'm a story creature in the end of the day, and as much as it's fun to craft your own story, to me it's equally fun to participate in the story of the world as well, and unlike Minecraft, Minetest is very lacking in that department. The world feels barren and empty, with no NPC villagers to nurture or harass, no temples to plunder, no bosses to kill. Even mods don't really help with that, as the modding community, though doing well, isn't nearly as big as Minecrafts, which might turn off any veteran Minecraft players from the game, or those who would like something weird or magical like Thorncraft or Ether or something else. The game overall also feels a bit clunkier, especially in enemy hitboxes. Here's server made best with it by essentially making them box-like, but without the ability to tweak this, you'll be stuck in a world with hard-to-kill mobs and birds that are practically invincible without high-level gear. But anyway, do I feel like it's flawed? It's a good type of flawed. The one where it's easy to get used to, ignore, or fix flaws by yourself rather than getting annoyed by them constantly, and my recommendation would be this. Go play Minecraft if you want an adventure, go play Minetest if you want to have fun. And though I'm currently alone, I personally still continue playing on Universal's server, partially because I'm like a swan that marries only once and never has another mate ever again, partially due to sunken cost fallacy.
The coconut nut is a giant nut. If you eat too much, you get very fat. Now, the coconut nut is a big nut, but this delicious nut is not a nut.